Hello, my name is Derek Mithog. I'm one of the owners of the Voltaire Cycles franchise, and I'm here to share a little bit of information on what you receive when you decide to join the Voltaire Cycles enterprise. There's a lot of literature out there, and I'm sure you've availed yourself of some of it regarding what's the difference between opening a franchise versus opening your own store? What do you receive and what you don't get? What are some of the pros and cons? Hopefully, in this little video, you'll get a better sense of what we're about and what you'll be receiving directly if you decide to join this really exciting industry called electric mobility. So the first thing I wanted to do was and get rid of that recording screen, just to talk a little bit about the FDD. So by now you've gotten that gargantuan legal document which spells out in great legalese what's promised and what's not promised, what are the terms of the agreement, etc., etc., etc. And it's very important that you read that, but more importantly, that you share that with your attorney and or with a knowledgeable franchise attorney to discuss. But I'm going to break it down to a more granular level and talk a little bit about what the value points are that make, I think, this enterprise far more attractive than most any other franchise, especially with the promise of what electric power and the technology behind a lot of these e-mobility vehicles is going to mean for transportation over the next decade and likely the next century. We are departing from fossil fuels, and I'm very proud to say that this technology, this industry is just a small part of a global multi-trillion-dollar industry of transportation, which will eventually fully come full circle. But right now we are in the year 2019 and we're setting up shops and getting ready for the so-called wave of customers that are already at the door and are going to be in much larger crowds in the next couple of years. So in the FDD, I believe there are two fees which you would be required to pay if you decide to join Voltaire Cycles. The first is the franchise fee. The normal fee is $59,000, and that's about average for a franchise that you could open that would generate over $500,000 in gross revenues. If you were going to open a franchise that, say, was grossing, something like $80,000 in gross revenues, your franchise fee would be much smaller. We have discounted that full franchise fee by 50% to encourage the first few risk takers, those that are willing to join the team without a whole lot of track record, which we don't have yet. Because it's definitely a new industry, and so we've discounted that to encourage people that are greater risk takers to take advantage of that. And we've also discounted some other terms which you'll see in the FDD. But the 2 points of the royalties and the franchise fee is what I wanted to talk about. What do you receive by paying a franchise fee? And what do you receive then after you get your business going by paying royalties? So the royalties come to an amount of 3%. And I'm not going to talk about the 1% advertising royalty because that's obvious. You're getting advertising for that, and you're building the brand so that more people will come. Obviously, that's a universal tax. And I don't think it's even worth discussing. But 3% royalty, what do you receive? Well, yes, that comes to the franchisor. But what you receive is something much more valuable because you're part of a team of stores, a team of similar stores. Let's say we have 10 stores or 50 stores or 200 stores. All of those stores have something called a collective bargaining advantage, which means we, the franchisors, can step up to any of the manufacturers or any of the distributors and say, look, we have 50 stores. We want better margins on this product or this group of products because we're going to be buying so much more. And what does that better margin mean? Obviously, as a wholesaler, if I have to sell just 3 bikes to a shop, I want to get as much as I can. But if I am going to sell 300 bikes to multiple shops, can I strike a better deal than 32% or 33%? Heck yes. In fact, I'm striking those deals for any shop that'll buy 10 bikes or 20 bikes. So we're very confident. We already know this, but if you're joining a collective bargaining group, which is going to get you better terms on wholesale prices. And I will say that I'm fairly confident that it's going to be much better than 3%. So just by joining a group of stores that are all branded and bonded together, you are getting that collective bargaining agreement. So margins should be considerably better, and that would overcome that 3% royalty. There are other advantages too to joining a group of like-minded stores. You get to benefit from the best practices of other successful stores. So if somebody comes up with a better system for handling inventory that's coming in or handling repairs and introduces it to the group, and it's clearly more efficient, more profitable, you get to benefit from that idea because that can be adopted. And all franchise groups talk about the collective advantages of having best practices shared with similar franchises. So it's coming back to the franchise fee, what that purchases. Well, that is where a lot of the work is done, and you're paying that premium to avoid the much costlier premium of testing and adjusting. If you start a business from scratch, a lot of it is guesswork. In fact, I'd say 3/4 of it is guesswork. You don't know what's going to sell. You don't know what you need. You don't know how much this is going to cost or that's good until you start. And you end up trying a lot of things, spending a lot of money, and realizing, well, that didn't work. Let me try this. With a franchise, you're getting to the profitable stage of a business much more quickly, where it takes upwards of 5 years for a competitive business to become profitable. With a franchise, you're hoping to get out of the gate running and profitable in a much shorter amount of time. So that's an argument that I think it makes a lot of sense. At least to me, it does. But it's not the only thing that you are getting with that. One of the things that's unique to our business is data. And when you join the Voltaire Cycles franchise, you are going to receive, obviously, in addition to the owner's manual, which goes step by step, day by day, week by week, what you have to get done, what has to be filed, what has to be put together for your business, all of that. We've factored in exactly the stuff you need to order, when you need to order it, when you need to label it, what you need to have in place as you do your build out of your shop. At what point do you want the inventory to start arriving at the shop as you're clearing off sawdust and sweeping away debris? All of that is planned, and it's already taken out of the guesswork. So you can rest on the timeline of 12 weeks, and you can look each week. It breaks it down. This is what you need to accomplish this week, and here are the steps to accomplish it. So that's a great relief. It takes stress out of, well, you know, how do I find a commercial property? How do I negotiate a lease? What do I do after I get the property? I mean, what kind of insurance do I need? All of that stuff is answered. But here's the big thing, and a lot of business owners struggle about this. Oh, I've got to develop a website. Oh, I have to put together my social media pages. Oh, I've got to I have to have some kind of inventory system. We've done all that work. And one of the coolest things that you receive is this. You receive a completely built website. If you go to the Voltaire Cycles in Denville, their website, you'll see that the outside of the website is very attractive. It has our color palette, our logo, and then you have all of these navigation menus. You get this entire website. Only up here will have your address, your contact information, and links specific to your location. And you will have full control over this. So if you want to change the menu around here, or you want to add additional categories because you're carrying more products, that's great. On the back side of it, we're going to jump to the other side of it. One of the things that costs a lot of time, in fact, thousands of hours of time, is entering product data into your inventory system. So about 5 years ago, Shopify was one of 4 e-commerce sites that were offering these packages of a new software that was very customizable, that allowed you to run a brick and mortar store and an online retail store. Everyone knows that people shop online much more than before. So having all of your products and all of your pictures of your products on your homepage, on your website, is incredibly valuable. So if somebody wants to look at BH Easy Motion bikes, they're not just looking at a list of the bike names, or maybe just the brand. Like, yes, we stock BH bikes. They're actually able to walk in, look at the pricing of the bikes, look at the specs of the bikes, and if they want more information or they want to schedule a test ride, they're able to do that too. What's so time consuming is on the back end of this, entering a product. And I'm going to go up here and go to our electric bikes. You know what? Actually, I just saw some trikes here. Let me grab one of these trikes. So when someone, you know what? This is a demo model. Let me get to a real model. When somebody, when you have products coming in, let's say a new product. Let's say the company is deciding that it's going to start stocking Raleigh electric bikes. All these bikes start coming in, but before they come to your store, you've got to put them into the system. Somehow the bike pictures, the bike data, the UPC codes, the wholesale costs, the lifestyle pictures, and then all of the other back-end stuff, like what group does this bike belong to, what collection is it going to be featured in. All of those things take enormous amount of time to input, and it's very tedious work. When we started the business back in 2014, it was just me entering in products, and I can tell you, getting 10 to 12 products done in an 8-hour day was a successful day. It took a long time to do it, and even today, even with bulk editors, it still takes a lot of time to do. But for you to speed it up, all of the products that we carry, all of the SKUs, including all of the accessories, are now in your system. And you'll notice that 0 is what in stock. It means there's nothing in inventory. When you receive this entire system, it's handed to you and it will be on your own domain. So it will be Voltaire Cycles, wherever in the USA that you're located, .com. This website will be planted on there, and this is the back end of the website. The front end of the website will look like this, and people will be able to navigate it. But on the back end, you are starting your store, and you're 2 weeks away from grand opening, and your inventory starts coming in the door. Well, you unpack it, and you need to enter it into the system. You don't actually have to enter the product into the system. You don't have to type the product here, look for the description on the manufacturer site, put in the specs of the bike here, all the details, the tire size, the brake types, the component sets. You don't have to go into copying and pasting pictures or even putting in the frame sizes for the variants. All that is done for you. All that you have to do is enter in your inventory. So if you bought 1 or 2 of these bikes to have on the floor, that's already set up for you. And our current catalog is some 3,400. I think it actually might be even up to 4,000 now. SKUs, and a SKU is an individual product. So if you have a purse and that purse comes in 5 different colors, that purse is not one SKU. It's each of those colors is its own SKU. So you would have 5 different SKUs. So we have over 3,400 products in the system, including all of the parts and tools that you need to fix bikes or fix scooters. You can just look down here under bicycle tools for that. And that's not a good representation of that. I'm apologizing. Oh, there it is. So if you go down to bicycle tools, or let's try this, bicycle type, product type, and let's go to, actually, I'm just thinking, bicycle baskets. You kind of curious, well, what bicycle baskets would sell where I'm located? Well, that's a really good question. How do you know that this basket is more popular than that basket? Well, there's data out there that you can gather. You can go around and ask other bike shops about, which baskets would be more are best sellers and which are, not so great sellers. And then, of course, you can just test the waters by, running, doing your own purchases and then testing to see which baskets do people like. We already take that out of you.